Whether it's a word or a picture, definition gives you a clearer understanding of what you are looking at. Our goal is to give you some perspective on wellness terminology, so you can have a clearer understanding of what wellness is, and discover how you can work toward your own personal wellness. Hi guys, so we've identified and defined holistic wellness as a lifestyle that supports physical health, enhances mental capacity, and fosters that rich social and spiritual connection. Today, we're going to have a discussion. We're going to talk about the difference between ideal wellness and holistic wellness, and go a little bit more into the idea of wellness as a lifestyle. So into ideal wellness. So a lot of what we see in the wellness industry is really photos of people doing all of these serene things in serene settings, and really kind of outside of the lives that we live. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, yes. You get this pictures of just this, ideal fitness people, and a lot of ideal settings in nature, and just the perfect food and the perfect picture, and everything is so perfect and just and ideal. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where they try to get you to live a life without stress, without struggle, try to exude this bliss and happiness, perfect health, perfect stability and fitness. And how does that relate to life in general? That's really the question that we have. And the discussion that we're having here today is does that even relate to life in general, and life in daily life? So the way we think about it is that those things, those ideal wellness aspects, are really like wellness in a vacuum. So wellness separated from your daily stress, your daily struggles with yourself and with other people.
Yes, and with your life, with your schedule, with your work, with your kids, with your family, it's almost like wellness in a bubble, basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And are those things realistic? Can you really translate those pictures that you see out there, or those expectations that you see out there, into your specific life and where you're at now today?
Yeah, and that's really a lot of what we like to talk about in all of our programming and everything is about how do you access wellness in your daily life, and how do you get your lifestyle, and that's what we're talking about here with wellness as a lifestyle. How do you get your lifestyle to support you while you're under stress, and amidst that struggle with yourself and with other people, because we know full well that life happens.
Yes.
And people are unpredictable. Yes. Right?
Well, life is unpredictable.
Yeah,
life is busy and unpredictable, and by definition, it's dynamic. It changes from day to day, sometimes from hour to hour. Absolutely. Yeah, so how do you adjust to those changes? How do you still, the biggest thing that I hear a lot from my clients is that I don't have time to fit this into my routine, whether it's exercise or food prep or whatever it may be, because I'm busy. Because today my kid is sick. Today I have to go into work, or I have a business meeting that I didn't prepare for, or I didn't plan for. So is it then realistic to expect to have this really specific, structured lifestyle that we call, wellness, fit into that life every time? I don't think that's very realistic.
Absolutely. I feel very much the same, and I get the same from my clients. Developing a picture perfect diet for yourself on paper is sometimes really difficult to translate into your day. I have a client that I'm working with that we sat down, and she created herself a meal plan for 3 days. That was the requirement. It was just to get an idea of what her preferences are and what she would like to see. But when we met the next time, she found it really difficult to even stick to that. So imagine trying to get a meal plan from someone else that someone else thinks is ideal, and trying to fit that into your life or make your life fit around it. And we know, and many of us and many of you know from experience how difficult that is, and how difficult that is to stick with.
Absolutely. I was going to say that from experience, I know that I think another aspect that we end up doing is chasing that high almost, chasing that ideal of this is how I want my life to be, and then we get caught in the chase. And I'd like to share something with you, because I experienced that myself. Back in 2004, I was living in Massachusetts at the time, and I had the opportunity to quit my job because I was working as a manager of a restaurant. It was very stressful, and I wanted to embark in a year or so of wellness for myself. So I did. I moved from Massachusetts to Indiana. I, spent time with my brother and my nephew. So my responsibilities went from a lot of stress to just focusing on myself. I was single. I had no other responsibilities. It was the most amazing 2 years of my life. It actually elongated to 2 years, which was great. I focused on fitness, nutrition, wellness, and I was working out twice a day, eating a perfect diet. But I was working part-time, so my life was completely different than what it is now. But I was caught in chasing that for myself. For me, that became the standard. I didn't understand well, why can't I fit that now into my life today? But it's completely different. I am married today. I have, a family. I have a job. I'm going to school full time. So is it realistic for me to, fit into what I was doing before into this life now? No.
Right.
So the challenge becomes then for me and for everybody else, I think, then how do I still take care of myself and continue to be well and healthy within the environment that I find myself in now? Absolutely. And that's the progress that I work on every day.
Yeah, it is. It's a daily practice. Yes. That's one of our slogans is life is a daily practice. And wellness is absolutely a daily practice. And that's why this broad-based definition of wellness is that it supports physical health, is lends to mental capacity, and fosters those things as far as spiritual and social connection. That just means that in those moments, and when you find yourself that your life changes, that you have those base elements.
Yes.
And you've learned those base elements that you can go back to and you can touch on every time to help you just feel okay about the life you're living and help you feel like you can handle the stress that you have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to me, it starts with, for us both, I believe it starts with compassion.
Yes.
So compassion for me is understanding that it's okay to be where I'm at. My life is different than it was before, and that's fine. And it's okay that my day changes every day. And so then once I have compassion for myself, then I can accept where I'm at, and then I'm able to implement the skills that I have learned into my days. And I say my days because sometimes my days are so different that's how it goes. It's one day at a time sometimes. And, the skills of eating well, exercising, some days I have time for a full hour workout. Some days I only have 15 minutes, and that's okay, Yeah. And those are the skills that we're trying to help you guys also understand.
Absolutely, and that's really what wellness as a lifestyle is about, is those things, what can I do today to help me get through today?
Yes.
Or even what can I do in this moment, if you're in a particularly stressful moment, to help me get through this moment and this stress that I'm undergoing right now. So what are those things that you can tap into? And that's what we like to do, is help you to get to know who you are, use that compassion piece, and so where you can say, it's okay to be who I am. It's okay to have the skills that I have, and now how do I build from there? Absolutely. What kind of strategies can I put together to deal with the stress that I have?
Yes.
So that's really what wellness as a lifestyle we feel.
Absolutely, because in the end, stress is a part of life. It will always be a part of life.
Yeah.
You cannot remove the stress from your life, and you cannot remove yourself from your stress a lot of times.
That's true.
So then the key becomes, how do you cope with that stress, and how do you learn to not let that stress completely overwhelm you?
Yes. Yeah. How do you not let that stress be the centerpiece of your life?
Yes.
But you all well know, I'm sure many of you have experienced that if you try to remove yourself from your stress, or you try to remove stress from your life, you're not tending to it.
Yes.
And if you're not tending to it in a compassionate way, typically it gets worse, doesn't it? And then you have to go back and tend to all that fallout. And so it becomes kind of a messier deal and just an elongated process, really, in finding comfort in that among that stress. So stress. So wellness as a lifestyle is really important.
Yes.
That's something we're going to talk a lot about. That's really kind of the central piece. And this definition of wellness, of holistic wellness. So I'll go over that definition again. Is holistic wellness as a lifestyle that supports physical health, enhances mental capacity, and fosters a rich spiritual and social connection. In the next video, we're going to get a little more in depth about what each piece of that means and what it can mean for you, because it's going to mean something different for everybody. We're just kind of giving the starting points and hopefully some starting points that can help you along the way, and also some real simple checkpoints. So with that definition, if you take that definition and you say, is what I'm doing meet these, not necessarily meet these criteria, but are all of these points checked? Mm-hmm. Am I considering my physical health? Am I considering my mental capacity? Am I enhancing that mental capacity? Am I at good capacity for mental processes? And am I still enriching my spiritual connection? Am I still, is my social interaction with people still good? Do I feel good about that? So those are kind of checkpoints for there. So we'll talk a lot more about the details on that here coming up. And we just want to remind you that you can do this.
Absolutely. And we're here to help.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.